We know that virtual coaching has become more competitive than ever. NASM's got you covered with our virtual coaching course. NASM's virtual coaching course provides a complete solution to help you translate your services into a successful virtual platform. This course will give you the tools to build and operate a sustainable virtual business model. The formats may be different, but you're still delivering fitness training and effective behavioral coaching. That doesn't change even if you can't be in the same physical space as your clients. The truth is, this is the way to reach more clients and expand your reach and impact. There's never been a better time to carve out your very own virtual space, and NASM is here to help. Welcome to NASM's virtual coaching.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Welcome to this week's episode of We Speak. My name is Katrina Pilkington, AFAA Master Instructor and NASM Everything. I am going to purely be your guide and host today as I chat with a few of my amazing colleagues in the world of group fitness about a topic called Group Fitness Now. Like, where have we come in the last 7 months or so since the shift of our climate here in 2020, and how I like to use the word pivot all the time, how we've had to make huge pivots this year. And I will introduce you to our lovely panel, I guess we can call it here. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
You're going to have to keep Jay and I in line, because if you guys have seen in our other videos, we are just like brother and sister and have to be like put in timeout. But I'll introduce you to Jay first, and then I'll introduce you to also Shannon Cooper and Venetia James, who joined us here to have just a chat, a conversation of dialogue around where we are with group fitness now. So as many of you know, Jay is one of our faces of AFAA or AFA, discussing group fitness as a master instructor with over 20 years presenting and educating folks on this group fitness spectrum and industry space that we're in. Hi, Jay.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
And then we also have Shannon Cooper, who's with us here from the Michigan area. She is a certified group fitness instructor who's been doing a little bit of a shift in group fitness, which is why I wanted her to chat about some of her classes and what they look like and feel like now. Hi, Shannon.
Hey.
She's got her bachelor's and master's degree in exercise science, and she's also the owner and operator of Band-Aids for Change, headbands and apparel that remind us to love unconditionally, where profits are donated to organizations battling racial injustice. I didn't wear my headband, didn't even think about it. My little one stole it, and I don't know where it's at. So it's somewhere in her room. Good morning, Shannon. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you.
And then we have Venetia James, who is also my hair lady, but also an amazing group fitness instructor who's got decades of experience as a choreographer with her degree in communications and dance, who also is the lead choreographer and founder of the 100 Unit, a women's health and wellness empowerment organization aiming to transform lives through fitness and dance. Good morning, you.
Good morning. Hey, thank you for having me.
No problem. It feels weird having you like in this virtual space, because we haven't been able to be in person, but social distance, right? So I'm going to open it up to anyone and everyone just to kind of discuss a little bit of background on your teaching pre-2020. Maybe how did that look like? How many classes were you teaching? And then maybe each one of you can talk about post-March, April-ish, and what has happened to shift your world and fitness. Anybody want to take it first?
Ladies.
Oh, I'll go. So as my girl Katrina has introduced, my name is Venetia James, and I am over a women's empowerment movement where the women work out to perform at professional events that attract audiences by the hundreds and thousands. So those platforms are NFL, NBA, concerts with famous artists. And these women are women of all shapes, sizes, abilities, disabilities, ages, regular women from everywhere who basically are able to be celebrated and perform on platforms that they typically would only dream of doing. So right where they are at. we use it as a form of working out. So it is what we use to get in shape. And we were meeting pretty consistently, and we had some things coming up even in Las Vegas. And then the pandemic hit. And so had been doing that consistently for about the last 3 years. And so the good thing is we already communicated quite a bit on an online platform. But then when the pandemic hit, I transferred to doing it more so, permanently, I guess, at least for now. And it's been actually really, really good. It's been a learning experience for myself, for my students. It stretched me in many ways, and I actually love doing it. And I also taught group fitness, which is Zumba at a gym that I was doing consistently as well. And now I do it online.
Awesome. Thanks, Venetia. I know that's been a huge shift. So we're going to talk about the shift here in just one second. What did your days of teaching look like, Shannon, before everything switched?
So before everything switched, I transitioned to teaching group exercise full time. In 2015, I was teaching 18, 19 classes a week, indoor specifically. And then it was probably 2019. At the end of 2019, I started teaching at a boutique studio called Shred 415 that opened up in Troy as well. So that's interval training with treadmill decks. I was still teaching, up to 18 classes per week. And at the time, 2020, where we are now, I was, I think, 7 months pregnant leading to the pandemic. But I planned on teaching all the way until my due date. And then it was mid-March when everything shut down. It's crazy to say that in indoor cycling, we would have up to 50 people in the studio. And at Shred 415, we were 30 people inside of the studio. So we did make the transition to online classes to make sure we were still providing that service to our, so with 415, we just, we did body weight exercises, but also had exercises that if they had dumbbells available. So in cycling, started to rent out our bikes so people could pick up a bike from the studio and have it in their home. And then we were teaching virtually as well. Recently, we started doing outdoor classes for both studios. And then within the past month, we did open indoors for Shred 415. We're still outdoors for cycling.
Yeah, just kind of depends on states and regulations and all those sorts of things. And I know Shannon and I have talked about make sure that you don't overtrain, that you only teach so many classes a week, which you told me how many classes you taught. I was like, well, because I failed to mention that both Venetia and Shannon are both moms of 2. I have that right, Venetia, right? It's 2.
Yes, you do. Yes.
So just trying to juggle everything, which I know I can completely relate to as we moved in April out of state during the pandemic. So I lost all of my clients and all of my classes and had to kind of figure out a way to do what I love to do virtually, but also much like Jay have done a lot of education and panels and also fun different opportunities, but it's been a shift for sure. What did you do before, Jay? I mean, I know, but.
I was, I taught 1 class a day. Because I was an assistant general manager at a corporate fitness facility. So right when the pandemic hit, I moved halfway across the country. And then I became a general manager and I started managing the team of people that was doing all that stuff. So I would only do pop-up classes. That's what I did. I just would pop up on the internet and do a little class every now and then pop back off because I was trying to manage a team of 16 people trying to do this. That was insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It shifts a lot when you go from the world of being an instructor and also doing different opportunities. So that's important to understand that that's an option now. So I know for you that you've done that shift as well. Have you done any classes where you felt like you've been doing more online since after March or managing those folks you've had to manage? how is that managing people to teach them how to transition online?
One of the biggest things would have to be that I had to instill in people that this is going to sound crazy. Just because you are the bomb diggity in person doesn't always mean you're the bomb diggity on screen.
I
It's
mean,
a whole different skill set when you're teaching
yes,
virtually than when you're teaching in person.
It
Yeah.
is, yes.
Because for a lot of us in group fitness, what we naturally did in class was we drew energy off of our students.
Yes.
When you're in the living room by yourself and there's no one behind you,
I know. You're like,
you don't have a hype person and stuff. you literally are in a position now to where you have to create this energy. Like you have to create this thing.
Yeah.
Because when you look at how exhausting classes used to be when we were teaching in person, like you have to create that same amount of energy with no feedback.
right.
And for a lot of people, that was one of the hardest things for them to do because they thought just all they had to do was turn on a camera. And when actually it's a whole different skill set.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I had to instill in my instructors and some of my exercise specialists is that I need you to get some personality. This is when I need you to, you need to become a superhero. Like whoever it is,
Find your inner Beyonce somewhere in here. Right. Exactly. And it's interesting because I don't mind speaking on here by myself. I've done it plenty of times, but I constantly tell our lovely producer, Greg, I love having others to talk to because I like having conversation. And to me, conversation is back and forth. So if anybody's watching live out there, you can feel free to comment and share with us your experience before 2020, I guess you can say, and then currently as we're going to discuss those topics here. And also if you have any questions for myself or my panelists here, feel free to comment on Facebook. But Venetia, I want to go to you because I know with Shannon, I'm going to ask how she's been teaching after the pandemic outside. But with you, I know you've done a ton of different work virtually and adjusting to that space. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do virtually, how that has had to switch with translation in your home versus being in studio, I guess you can say.
So I actually come from the Facebook. I do two platforms. I do Zoom platforms for a company, and then I do the Facebook platform. And I've been blessed to where I'm not necessarily teaching by myself. I actually have one of my students who we meet up 3 times a week, and we teach to this online group of people who follow us. And you do have to have a lot of charisma. You have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to, your audience has to believe that you enjoy what you're doing. So they want to come and participate in what you're offering them and stay consistent and committed to the process. So it was definitely a transition that I didn't know that I would like, but I actually have discovered that I like it more. And in fact, I'm more in shape than I was before, teaching to a class of 50 to 60 students that I gained a lot of energy from, but they also took from my energy. And so I'm actually surprised that I love doing this, but it was definitely a transition, but it's better.
Yeah, it works. We've discussed this. And one thing I want you to touch on for our audience that is like, what do I do? How do I transition online? What about pricing? What do I do as far as payments and things? Maybe, and you don't have to give specifics, but I would love your take on just flexibility with donations versus people paying versus people having a set price and package. How can instructors get creative with how to sell their classes on an online space without being too focused on just one specific price?
For me, what has been working for me, and this is, I didn't begin this way. I actually started out offering the classes online for free because it was more accountability for myself as well. If I had people to teach to, then I knew that I would get up every morning and also stay committed to my workout. So in the beginning of the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, because many people were losing jobs and their form of income, I offered it for free. And
Yeah.
I did that for a good 4, maybe even 5 months. And so then when the economy began to open up again, and then they shut it down again, the next time I came back, I said, okay, the platform is no longer offered for free. However, I am accepting donations, and I'm asking that you would be fair about the donations that you give. And I'm going to tell you, it's been way more lucrative.
Right.
For what I teach, Zumba, and now transitioning into my own brand and my own fitness format, Unitone. The average class goes from anywhere per person, anywhere from $3 to $12. If you're doing master classes, an hour and a half, that's about $15 you can charge, or even up to $25. My classes, I say give donations, I get paid way more.
Right.
It's been very lucrative.
It's like that trust factor. And also, I like to always talk about equity and making things accessible. Not everybody's lost their job. Some people are doing very well right now and some aren't. So I think doing it that way is allowing flexibility for people to say, okay, come as you are, and it's okay, right?
And people appreciate it. And like you said, everybody's not doing the same. But yet people need to stay healthy. I mean, mind, body, and spirit. And staying physically active is a huge component of doing so, and feeling good about yourself. So yes, I that's how I do it. It works best for me. And I mean, it's I would recommend it. As opposed
we talk about that. She's like, I don't want to leave my house. She's like, I like teaching in my house. I like being in my house too. Like it's part of being an extroverted introvert or whatever the case may be. It's comfortable. And, we can talk about equipment with virtual spaces in just a moment to kind of piggyback off of the NESM course that's coming out. But that's amazing that you're doing so well, Venetia, and I'm grateful for that for you.
Thank you.
You're such an amazing personality to be in this space and keeping people motivated. So thank you for doing that for your community. And Shannon, I know you've been doing a lot of different looking classes, right? Your classes don't necessarily look the same, but how have they shifted then and now for you with your students?
So going outside, especially with the Cycle Bar brand, is completely different. In studio, we have the what we like to call a multi-sensory experience with the stats board, the lighting, our sound system. Outside, we had many challenges with our sound system. My husband's actually a musician, so he has brought up mini speakers, things like that. And we finally have figured it out for the outdoor space with cycle classes. Are off a major road at the studio that I teach at, so it's been wonderful for advertising. Traffic, so people are just stopping and taking pictures. So, being an instructor where I am, I have to really guide our instructors to know that things are going to happen, because we have situations with our series or raining in the middle of a class and things like that. I'm thankful that most of those situations have happened to me, that literally the stereo goes out and I'm just like, okay, so
I'm going to sing. You guys know this one, right?
I ended up, just doing a video for them, just like, okay, in case this happens, and like that.
Good.
For our students coming in, everybody wears masks coming in. Once they get to their bike, they can take the mask off. We originally were not be in close proximity to them, but having a lot of new riders, especially being off the side of a major road, it's been, again, great for advertising. So we have a lot of new riders. So we do have to get into their space, but we make sure we're have sanitizers available just to make sure they're clipped into their bike. We still rent out shoes, sanitize everything. We're responsible for all the cleaning, things of that nature. It's been great. But we, in Michigan, gyms are allowed to be open, decreased capacity. We just are not open inside. Our decision, and we have some construction going on as well. And our class is busier than a lot of the other indoor cycling studios, because a lot of people are ready to go.
Yeah, it's a comfort thing too, right? It's respecting people's space to know who's ready to come back to life as we know it now. and then giving them that comfortability. I'd be interested to see what happens when it gets Michigan-y in the winter.
It's already, it's there. We're there now. It's, we've had some other classes, and again, I've had to tell my instructors, because it's colder, we have a branded ride, so we have specific RPMs,
right?
Songs. People need that time. We are going to coach them that. Right. So shooting everything safely. Like
you work harder, you stay warm. I mean, I like the cold. I don't want to be cycling when it's hot out. I'd rather it be cold. So I mean, you can probably make that a joke for your members.
I was joking with them yesterday. I was just like, I'm noticing like everybody comes in like 3 minutes before class now because everybody's hiding in their car.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming now. I'm like, get in early so you can warm up.
Right. What do you miss as far as indoor? Because I know for myself that I ride my bike. A lot of people know that I ride my bike in my garage. But, you know, for me, I personally don't need all of that extra, the lighting and things like that. I mean, it's fun, but I kind of prefer being in my own element. Do you feel like your students or your instructors miss like the lights and the loudspeakers, or it's just getting used to it and it is what it is?
I have enjoyed teaching both virtually and outdoors more than I thought I would. They call me at my studio because I'm very like the dramatics of like the Beyonce show. So I love the lights and provide a different experience for the riders indoors. But it's allowed me to be creative and grow as an instructor over the last couple of months. But even training, because I still have had to train coming in. Like Jay said, just like I need more from you. Like so, I've been able to train people to be very strong before they touched class because they're having to teach to a camera,
right?
Wing and cheer.
Like come caffeinated and ready to go. And I really I wanted to touch on the fact that you've taken the time, because you are a lead over other instructors, to teach them and give them a troubleshooting guide. You know, like what if the weather is inclement and what if the speaker goes out? Because we've talked about this on other episodes and in the Facebook page, Jay, about, you know, things aren't always going to go as you think they're going to go.
Not at all.
Have a plan B, C, D, and all those other letters.
Just fill out the alphabet with a plan.
Need all the plan letters.
Exactly.
And segueing to you, Jay, I was going to have you talk about how many of us, myself included, have had to get creative, and even Venetia too, with diversifying what we do. So can you kind of add on like some things that you're doing that are a little different now than before?
Look, honestly, I've been pulled out of retirement. That's what I feel.
You are not retired.
I'm like, yeah, I'm probably doing a lot of stuff that I didn't think I was doing. But I would also have to say at the same time, for me, I almost look at this whole situation as a graduation into the next thing of what people should be doing.
Right.
Like, I always thought to myself, being 46 years old, I look at some of my friends who are in this industry, and I tell them, we never thought we would have ever been teaching virtually at home.
Nope.
We were thrust into this accelerated technology course where we had to learn how to use, like, our kids know how to do this. We never imagined this would be something.
Like I said, how's this ring thing work? Let me turn on this.
Exactly. So I always feel like it was a huge graduation and forced advancement for the people who are who've been in the industry for a while.
Right.
And it also gave us an opportunity to start doing things behind the industry,
right,
as opposed to always be in front of the industry. So doing things like writing blogs or starting to write content or starting to produce your own content that had nothing to do with teaching. I was like, you know how a lot of people always say, if I had time, I would. If I had time, I would A, B, C, D. If I had, and now you have an unlimited amount of time.
I mean, it's funny because I feel like I don't have a ton of time. I mean,
Well,
my little ones are around.
I'm busy. But for the person that's like, I really want to write a fitness blog. And it's like, well,
Right.
ma'am, we're 7 months into this. Written by now.
If you would like to start using your thesaurus, this is the time to start writing. Like for real, like writing is one thing I've been loving to do more often than I had a chance to do before. And I always recommend that whether you're a tenured group fitness instructor or a newbie one, just learning how to write and articulate what you do is really important in this career, especially when folks ask us, how do you become a master instructor? Well, get used to writing and explaining things that you do second nature. I know that Shannon has this experience too. Like explain what you're doing. Same thing with Venetia, like teaching others.
It's one of the hardest things to do is like, especially when you know you've gotten the gift or you've honed in your gift for being a live personality in front of a group of people. When you have to put that information down on a piece of paper,
yes,
a whole nother ball game.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. What would you say? So I don't know, Shannon, are you teaching any classes virtually or in person?
Just in
person. So from both of you, from Shannon and Venetia, either virtually or in person, now that classes do look different, they might be outdoor, what do you think are your top two either pieces of equipment that you need to have, or pieces of advice that you would give to folks that are watching that are kind of in this space of unknown of where to go? Advice or equipment? Or advice?
I'll let you go.
I'll let you go, Shannon.
Okay. Pieces of advice is to stay motivated. It can be challenging. And I know when I'm working out from home, I'm very instructor driven. Sometimes you might be in a place that you don't feel motivated at home, but you have to know that what you're doing for your body, for your mind, like it's completely necessary.
Right.
So advice, it's most certainly to stay motivated. And we all need the mind, body, soul healing in this time.
Right. Take care of yourself.
Pieces of it, as for our outdoor workouts with the HIIT training that I do, we had weights available just in case people didn't have them, but one dumbbell, medium to heavy, with it. Because if going from one side to the other side or doing, some multi-joint exercises, I just say one medium to heavy because you can do so many
right
and hit, every body part.
Good, thank you.
So you don't need any equipment, you can still get it done.
Oh yeah, I'm all about the body. Yeah. Right. What about you, Miss V?
I would say for advice, explore, be creative, and be willing to take risks. And you discover a whole new world that way. You discover what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you love, what you don't. And just jump and try things that way. I know that it's just been an extraordinary journey for me these last 7 or so months of teaching online. So I think you should just definitely just be creative as far as equipment is concerned. And I know you said either or, but I'm going to give both. Is one of the pieces of equipment that I use is a chair, and I call them thrones because I refer to my audiences as kings and queens. So we use our throne in order to as a form of toning. So that's the way I use weights. I use my body as well as a professional dancer. I use my body to build muscle tone as well. But if you want to have fun with it, and so that no one has to buy equipment, use things around your home. Like even with the weights, a water bottle, you can fill it with water. If you want it heavy, rocks, rice are some examples.
Yeah. Awesome. Sorry, I'm back. I disappeared and I'm back. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I think the biggest takeaway I always want group fitness instructors to understand is just everybody's uncomfortable, but the only place you grow is in your uncomfortable zone. It's never comfortable when things are routine and going the way you want. When they're not going the way you want, odds are you're about to learn something new. Buckle up. it's going to be.
Like the one thing I would have to say to add on to that, allow yourself to make mistakes.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's how you learn. Fail forward. Fail forward. I've been failing all year, and it's been a glorious experience, as Jay has probably seen very close in person. So I want to say thank you to all of our panelists for joining me here today. If you want to share real quickly how to contact you on social, if you guys are on social media.
Yes. Hundreds Unit is my page, or Venetia James as you see it. So either way, you'll be able to have access to all my all my platforms.
Thank you. And you, Shannon, with both of your brands?
Yes, at Fitness Shannon on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, Shannon Cooper. You'll see me and my hubby and my kids.
Yeah.
At Band-Aids for Change 4. Number 4, Band-Aids for Change.
Thank you. For a good cause. And again, thank you everyone for joining me. Jay, everybody knows your stuff. You're on here all the time.
Really? And if they don't, they can just find me on the AFAA channel.
Exactly. You can find us in the AFAA page and the NASM page. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone. We'll see you on another episode of We Speak. We hope to see you back online soon. Bye.
Thank you. Mwah.